Okay, so this is Ulysses S. Grant. He is 5'8", often calm, reserved, and has a horrible sense of attire. He was 17th President of the United States, and before that, an amazing general in Civil War, fighting for the Union. And that's...
We have 10 minutes on the clock.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to extend it.
Right,
What?
10 minutes?
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
Well, don't worry about it, because we have a lot of time for this stuff. So, let's just start where it all began. Before we can understand this dude, we must understand the background. So, between the years of 1832 to 1860, there was an antebellum. A hot topic going around was slavery. Now, most of Americans know what slavery is. The South was all in for slavery. Meanwhile, the North was all against it. Since America gained independence, it has never been controversial in that time. But now, people were making new territories. States were joining, fueling the fire of an equal number of free and slave states. Many things exploded in the fire, thus causing a civil war. The Civil War would have set the stage for our boy, Grant. Now you know the lore. Let's get into the theories. Wait, that's not how it... Oh, never mind. Ulysses S. Grant was born in Point Pleasant, Ohio on April 27, 1822, born from a hard-working tanner named Jess Root Grant. He was exposed to the rigorous life of the countryside for the duration of his childhood. They were an average family, living above average life, Methodist, hardworking, and in middle class. Around the age of 6, Grant entered the school scene. He showed amazing performance in math and works well with horses. Now, his dad thought Grant would have been, had better opportunities serving the army. Grant wasn't interested, but he still was sent to the military school anyway. Grant then entered West Point, where his military career was slowly built up. As expected, he excelled in mathematics and horsemanship, but not liking any other subjects. He graduated in the middle of his class in 4 years. The first time he would be mentioned in your history books was his role as the American-Mexican War in 1848. He served under Generals Zachary Taylor and Winfield Scott. His contribution had its worth, but he left military service for a while to pursue business interests. After that, Grant was given duties and stations to oversee. One day, he found a beautiful girl. Her name was Julia Dent, and they married, had 4 kids. Their names were Frederick, Ulysses Jr., Ellen, and Jesse. Life was looking up for him, but his military career started to fall apart. He was put at stations and duties that would bring him away from his family, and eventually stationed at the West Coast, far, far away. He struggled in civilian life and simple practices such as farming.
Hey there, buddy. Are you having a good day? Is your life great?
What?
Well, no longer will that stay.
What?
Introducing the Great Depression. What does it do, you may ask? Benefits include losing your money, a higher chance for poverty, and best of all, you'll lose your job. Your life looks terribly worse than it is. But, oh no, you're broke? Well then don't worry. We have packages. We have the personal package. The personal poverty, just for the cost of $69.42. We also have the family package for the family members who need their life ruined for the cost of $694.20. Finally, our best deal yet, the America package for the country who's thriving and needs to downgrade to the level of a student. whatever that is, for the cost of
$6,942.
Call 123-456-9420 for more information. Keep being depressed and
Have a great day.
Finally, the Civil War breaks out with a window of opportunity. He was quite the general. He got the nickname Unconditional Surrender Grant from capturing Fort Doncelin and telling the Confederate garrison to surrender with no terms unconditionally. He got the national fame for that action. He led the troops at Battle of Shiloh in April 1862, keeping cool, choosing a wise counterattack, and entering the Confederate interior. He soon also led the troops of the Battle of Vicksburg, capturing the town and being significant to win in war. Abraham Lincoln favored this dude. He besieged Pittsburgh, which is effectively immobilized Robert E. Lee's army. Finally, as the final step to ultimate victory, he accepted Robert E. Lee's surrendering his forces at Appomattox Courthouse. Grant was there to witness the Civil War end. Now, the president at the time, Abraham Lincoln, was the leader of the North, and he was against slavery. And that cause ultimately won. However, he didn't only enjoy the peace for like 6 days. One day, Abraham Lincoln was watching a show at the theater. Then a man came and named John Wilkes Booth came into the theater with his empty Derringer pistol. As then John walked into the private booth of Abraham Lincoln and just went, yeah. Abraham Lincoln died that day, and later did John Wilkes Booth. The Republicans, one of the big parties at the time, chose Andrew Johnson for presidency. You must know that the Republicans were kind of terrible at choosing the president. Yet, Andrew becomes president, but in the end, he loses his influence with the Republicans. Thus, with that, Ulysses was up for presidency. He then became president, marking his face in the line of presidency as the 7th president of the United States. Soon, he was overseeing Reconstruction. He backed the 15th Amendment, and his administration was also known for actively hunting down the bad K who are racist. He also helped stabilize the economy and keep it from exploding out of control. He promoted diversity in federal offices by appointing other groups, people to work there, such as African Americans and Jewish Americans. Under Grant's leadership, the Union saw a full and worthy restoration. However, Grant wasn't perfect, or at least the perfect idea of how to be president. Grant was a great candidate, just not a great president. He had a skill issue. No offense. Grant's terms were marked by political corruption. When corruption in the government occurred, he had never bothered to punish the guilty. He allowed them to resign instead. As the Republicans weren't that great when choosing an actual good president. People only saw Grant's mistakes, so he wasn't great as a president. Sorry. But then again, the Republicans weren't great as a party. By then, people were looking forward to an end of this term. After a decent enough presidency, Grant was looking forward to retirement. Grant and his family decided to take a world tour. The world tour just lasted like 2.5 years. As then Grant celebrated as an amazing general in Civil War. He traveled to England, Italy, Russia, Spain, China, Japan, and many more. Wow, he's such a traveler, am I right? After being convinced and yet failing to earn a third term, Ulysses S. Grant lived a peaceful life. Yet, this peace wouldn't last for a long time though. Happening around the same time, the former president was diagnosed with an as yet incurable throat and tongue cancer, suspected to have been caused by his perennial cigarette smoking habit. His health got worse, and he kept tirelessly working on his memoirs, which were published after his death and significantly supported his family financially. Ulysses S. Grant sadly passed away on July 23, 1885. Ulysses S. Grant was a great military leader and a kind and great president, all from a humble background and a love story that sounds like the plot of a romance novel. He is one of the many people who has impacted the Civil War and one of the many people mentioned in your history textbooks. We can all learn from his resilient example. Maybe not from his fashion, but that'll all be for today, boys and girls. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.